precious. Come now, it's time to get comfortable. Pull the blankets up just right, and let your weary body sink into the bed. This is your time, precious. No one and nothing else matters to me but you. You're safe here with me, and I'm glad that we get to share these moments together. I've been looking forward to this all week, actually. The quiet of tonight, when it's just you, me, and a story waiting to be told. It feels like everything else just slows down, doesn't it? Like the world around us softens, and even time comes to a halt. I hope today was gentle on you, precious. And if it wasn't, it's okay. You made it through. And now, tonight, you get to rest. Remember, you're important to me, right? I'll be here every night for you, precious. Whenever you need these quiet little moments. Now close your eyes if you'd like. Breathe a little slower and let the day fall away. I've got you. Remember, we're reading King Solomon's Mines by H. Rider Haggard. Let yourself drift. Morpheus will be waiting for you. Now, where were we? Oh, there we are. The sun was just going down in its reddest glory, and Sir Henry and I were admiring the lovely scene, when suddenly we heard an elephant scream, and saw its huge, rushing form, with uplifted trunk and tail silhouetted against the great fiery globe of the sun. Next second we saw something else, and that was Good and Kiva tearing backwards towards us with the wounded bull, for it was he charging after them. For a moment we did not dare to fire, though at that distance it would have been little use if we had done so, for fearing of hitting one of them. And the next, a dreadful thing happened. Good fell victim to his passion for civilized dress. Had he consented to discard his trousers and gaiters like the rest of us, and to hunt in a flannel shirt and a pair of veldt shoes, it would have all been all right. But, as it was, his trousers cumbered him in that desperate race, and presently, when he was about 60 yards from us, his boot, polished by the dry grass, slipped, and down he went on his face, right in front of us. We gave a gasp. We knew that he must die, and ran as fast as we could towards him. In 3 seconds, it had ended, but not as we thought. Kiva, the Zulu boy, saw his master fall, and brave lad as he was, turned and flung his asagi straight into the elephant's face. It struck in his trunk, With a scream of pain, the brute seized the poor Zulu, hurled him into the earth, and placing one huge foot onto his body about the middle, entwined its trunk around his upper part, and tore him in two. We rushed upon, mad with horror, firing again and again, till presently the elephant fell upon the fragments of the poor Zulu. As for good, he rose and wrung his hands over the brave man who had given his life to save him. And though I am an old hand, I felt a lump grow in my throat. Umbopa stood contemplating the huge dead elephant and the mangled remains of poor Kiva. "Ah, well," he said presently. "He is dead, but he died like a man." Chapter 5. Our March into the Desert. We had killed 9 elephants, and it took us 2 days to cut out the tusks, and having brought them into camp, to bury them carefully in the sand under a large tree, which made a conspicuous mark for miles round. It was a wonderfully fine lot of ivory. I had never seen better, averaging as it was between 40 and 50 pounds a tusk. The tusks of the great bull that had killed poor Kiva scaled 170 pounds the pair, so nearly as we could judge. As for Kiva himself, we buried what remained of him in an anti-bear hole, together with the asagi, to protect himself on his journey to a better world. On the 3rd day we marched again, hoping that we might live to return to dig up our buried ivory, and in due course, after a long and wearisome trip, and many adventures which I have not the space to detail here, we reached Satanda's Kraal, near the Lukanga River, and real starting point of our expedition. Very well do I recollect our arrival at that place. To the right was a scattered native settlement with a few stone cattle kraals and some cultivated land down by the river, where these savages grew their scanty supply of grain, and beyond it stretched great tracts of waving veld covered with tall grass, over which herds of smaller game were wandering. To the left lay the vast desert. This spot appears to be the outpost of the fertile country, and it would be difficult to say to what natural causes such an abrupt change in the character of the soil is due. But so it is. Just below our encampment flowed a little stream, on the farther side of which is a stony slope, the same down which, 20 years before, I had seen poor Sylvester creeping back after his last attempt to reach Salmon's mines. And beyond that slope begins the waterless desert, covered with a species of caribou shrub. It was evening when we pitched our camp, and the great ball of the sun was sinking into the desert, sending glorious rays of many-colored light flying all over its vast expanse, leaving good to superintend the arrangement of our little camp. I took Sir Henry with me, and walking to the top of the slope opposite, we gazed across the desert. The air was very clear, and far, far away, I could distinguish the blue outlines, here and there, capped with white, of Solomonberg. "There," I said. "There is the wall round Solomon's mines, but God knows if we will ever climb it. My brother should be there, and if he is, I shall reach him somehow," said Sir Henry, in that tone of quiet confidence which marked the man. I hope so, I answered, and turned to go back to the camp, when I saw that we were not alone. Behind us, also gazing earnestly towards the far-off mountains, stood the great Kaffir, Umbopa. The Zulu spoke when he saw that I had observed him, addressing Sir Henry to whom he had attached himself. Is it to that land that thou wouldst journey, Nkumbu? A native word, I believe, meaning an elephant, and the name given to Sir Henry by the Kaffirs, he said, pointing towards the mountain with his broad assegai. I asked him sharply what he meant by addressing his master in that familiar way. It is very well for natives to have a name for amongst themselves, but it is not decent that they should call a white man by their heathenistic applications to his face. The Zulu laughed a quiet little laugh, which angered me. How dost thou know that I am not equal of the Inuksi which I serve? He said. He is of a royal house, no doubt. One can see it in his size and by his mane. So, mayhap, am I. At least, I am as great a man by my mouth, O Makasaban, and by my word to the Inkubu, my master, for whom I would speak to him and to thee. I was angry with the man, for I am not accustomed to be talked to in that way by Kaffirs. But, somehow, he impressed me, and besides, I was curious to know what he had to say. So I translated, expressing my opinion at the same time that he was an impudent fellow, and that his swagger was outrageous. Yes, Umbopa, answered Sir Henry, I would journey there. The desert is wide, and there is no water in it. The mountains are high and covered with snow, and man cannot say what lies beyond them between the place where the sun sets. How shalt thou come thither, Inkubu? And wherefore dost thou go? I translated again. Tell him, answered Sir Henry, that I go because I believe that a man of my blood, my brother, has gone there before me, and I journey to seek him. That is so, Inkubu. A Hottentot I had met years ago down the road told me that a man went out into the desert 2 years ago towards those mountains with his one servant, a hunter. They never came back. How do you know it was my brother? Asked Sir Henry. Nay, I know not. But the Hottentot, when I asked him what the white man was like, said that he had thine eyes, and a black beard, he said. Too, that the name was of the hunter with him was Jim, that he was a Bachanaka hunter, and wore clothes. There is no doubt about it, said I. I knew Jim well. Sir Henry nodded slowly. I was sure of it. If George set his mind upon the thing that he generally did, it was always so from his boyhood. If he meant to cross the Solomon Berg, he has crossed it, unless some accident overtook him, and we must look for him on the other side. Umbopa understood English, though he rarely spoke it. It is a far journey, Nkubu, he put in, and I translated his remark. Yes, answered Sir Henry. It is far. But there is no journey upon this earth that a man may not make if he sets his heart to it. There is nothing, Umbopa, that he cannot do. There are no mountains he cannot climb. There are no deserts he cannot cross, save a mountain and a desert, of which you are spared that knowledge. If love leads him and he holds his life in his hands, counting it as nothing, ready to keep it or lose it, as heaven above may order. think that's some good life advice, precious. But look at you. Already fast asleep. I hope you are resting well, precious. Say hello to Morpheus for me tonight. I'll be here, lingering in the quiet, just beyond the edge of your dreams. You won't see me, but you'll know I'm here, watching, waiting, always returning.